The path has been laid out for you by all the greats, people older than you that you've seen achieve what they want to achieve. Be the hardest worker. That's it. The question is, are you willing to do it?
Level. This is why.
How bad do you really want it? That's the question. A lot of you guys out there think you want it. You say you want it, but it doesn't matter what you think. It doesn't matter what you say. It matters what you do on a daily basis to take the steps toward reaching your dreams. Towards, maybe that's playing at a high level Division I. Maybe that's playing in the big leagues. The problem is that most of you guys, you have that dream, but you're not doing the things daily that are going to get you there. And I have a great analogy to illustrate this. So we're back to class. On our y-axis, we have money invested. So this is like investing money in the stock market. Your development is the exact same way. And here's time. Now, let's say you invested $1,000 at 18. And you kept that money in the stock market until you were 80. Which would be crazy, and you would end up having a lot of money. The problem is, with compounding interest, for a long period of time, years and years and decades, you're going to see minimal growth. You're not going to see massive growth. Just like this graph illustrates, for a long time, you're not going to see anything. Eventually, when you reach a certain point, all of a sudden that money will go like this and just exponentially increase. The same is true of your development. Now think about this. Let's say you invested that money and you're not seeing that much growth. You're like, you know what, this doesn't make any sense. I'm just going to put this in a bank account where it's safe, where no one can touch it. Yeah, no one can touch it. You put $1,000, so you take it out here. Let's say it got to about $1,100 to $1,200, and you put that in the bank. Well, when you put it in the bank, guys, you're getting a very, very small, if it's in a savings account, very, very small percentage return. So it's not growing at all, hardly. And then there's this little thing called inflation. And as all of us know, inflation outpacing your savings account return rate. So this, not only is this money not making you more money, it's also worth way less now. If in today's numbers, this may be worth $800, okay? So because you put it in the bank and you stopped putting your work in, you stopped trusting in the process, you stopped doing the things daily you need to do, not only are you not getting better, but your money is now worth way less. So let's try this analogy with different things in mind, right here. And let's say this is your work you've put in. This is the work you're willing to put in. And this is one, you're working for 2 hours a day. Now, for a long stretch of time, guys, development is not linear. Linear would mean this. For everything I put in, I'm constantly seeing results. That's linear. The problem is, even if you're getting linear results, compounding will eventually outpace it. Or exponential returns will eventually outpace it. Development is not linear. So for a long time, a lot of you guys, let's say this marker right here is 3 months. A lot of you guys will put work in for a month or 2 months straight, and you're not seeing a lot of results. You're not seeing the velocity tick up. You're not seeing your exit velocity tick up. And you know what? I'm not seeing anything. Why am I working this hard? I'm done with that. Yeah, I want to play in the big leagues and I want to play at a high level in college baseball, but I'm just getting bored of this. I don't feel like doing it. Guys, it's not about what you feel like. Being disciplined is doing stuff even though you don't want to do it, you don't feel like doing it, because you know you have to do it to get the result that you want. I've never seen, not once, ever in my entire career have I seen the hardest worker on a team as a coach or a player get where he wants to be, achieve the results he wants to achieve. Hasn't happened. The problem is a lot of you guys say you're hard workers and you're not. You're working just as hard as anyone else. Think about it. However many thousands of high school players there are out there that are going and hitting the cage every day or doing that, You got to work harder than them. Going and hitting in the cage, and like I've told you guys, it's not about hitting the cage, it's about how you're doing your cage work. You have to make yourself a competitive advantage in how you get your work done, not just how long you worked. You can get a lot of value in 30 minutes in the cage where some guy could go hit for 2 hours, he's getting 0. But if you don't put your work in at all, you're going to be like this guy, putting his money in the bank, inflation's outpacing him. Well, what's inflation in baseball, in development and recruiting? Well, number one, it's you getting worse. So your talent goes down. Talent goes down. And your competition, who actually is putting the work in, is going up. So you're not working hard. There's other people in your graduating class that maybe you're more talented than. But they're putting the work in every day, and now instead of quitting at 3 months, or I'm going to still get some work in, but I'm not going to work that hard, or I'm going to do enough to where I can post something on social media a few times a week, so people think I'm working hard. That way, when I don't make it, I have an excuse. Well, I gave everything I had. How many people say that? How many people say that? I mean, I generally. That's something I think about myself, my own career all the time. It's like, did I work hard enough? And that's usually a good question, because that means you're not the guy that just says, yeah, I worked as hard as I can. I'm looking for things like, man, what could I have done more? And I know there's things I could have done more. If I'm being honest, there's definitely things I could have done more. Who knows what the results would have been if I was willing to do it. So not only are you getting worse, your competition is willing to put the work in, is now outpacing you, just like inflation. Outpacing you. And because they're willing to work past this 3-month span where they're not seeing many results, they finally get to this curve, and boom, they go from throwing 80 and now they're throwing 89. They were throwing 81, 82, now they're throwing 90. And you guys may think, man, that's a huge jump. I don't think that's very realistic. Well, it's funny because I've worked with a bunch of guys who have taken this seriously and put work in the weight room, work in their nutrition, their baseball stuff. Had plenty of pitchers that have gone from throwing 79 to 82 in their sophomore summer, so in their junior fall, and then come junior summer, they're throwing 87, 89, 88, 90. One of those guys is on campus at Vanderbilt right now. And he didn't just stop at 87, 89. He's throwing 92, 94 now. Right? So the elite guys and the guys who are willing to put this work in, and they don't need to post about it on social media because they know they're getting their grind on, they don't just stop when they hit that first. They don't just stop when they get to right here. They keep going and see how far they can go. They keep going. They never stop. If you're a guy out there, let's say you're a sophomore in high school and you're 81 miles an hour. That's pretty good. That's pretty good. Does it need to be higher? Yes. You can get to 90. No question about it. It's just a question. Are you willing to put the work in the weight room every day? Are you willing to eat as much calories as you need to? Eat as much protein as you need to? Are you willing to go to an indoor facility or go to the field and get your throwing in 2 or 3 times a week, whatever your schedule is? Most of you guys are not willing to do that. That's the problem. Guys, it's the easiest thing in the world. I tell this to every single client when they sign on with me. It's the easiest thing in the world. It's the hardest thing to follow through on. Like, the path has been laid out for you by all the greats, all the people older than you that you've seen achieve what they want to achieve. Be the hardest worker. That's it. Do something every day to attain your dream. You guys have heard me talk about Kobe Bryant and stacking days. That's it. Kobe Bryant reached that compounding effect and he never stopped, and he's one of the greatest of all time. Any all-time great, that's going to be the common denominator. They may have different little talents. They may have things they're better at than the other guy. But the common denominator is that they're the hardest worker around. So the path is easy. You know what you have to do. You know what you have to do to achieve your dreams. Work your butt off every day. The question is, are you willing to do it?